Luxury is not always a new lease or a giant payment. The right old car can pull up clean, quiet, and expensive looking while costing less than a tired economy hatchback. The trick is knowing which badge depreciated harder than the drivetrain. These 5 under $10,000 cars look rich without buying a financial trap. Number 5. Cadillac DTS Luxury Sedan. This one looks like a country club valet car, but the price can be used Camry money. I would shop 2009 through 2011 Cadillac DTS Luxury, Premium, or Clean Base Sedan trims with a 4.6-liter Northstar V8 and 4-speed automatic. Avoid abused livery cars, overheated cars, rough idling cars, neglected cooling systems, warning lights, and platinum or performance trims if magnetic ride control repair cost scares you. Earlier DTS years are not automatic garbage, but the last years give the strongest mix of condition, value, and final old Cadillac presence. Kelley Blue Book puts a clean 2010 sedan around the low $5,000 fair purchase range, with current resale even lower depending on miles and condition. In real shopping, $4,500 to $9,500 buys a clean title 2009 through 2011 DTS with about 70,000 to 150,000 miles. Lower mile garage cars can cross 10,000, but plenty of elderly owner cars stay below it. The market overlooks it because it looks like a retiree car, not a modern status car. That is exactly why it works. The size, chrome, leather, long hood, quiet cabin, and upright road presence still look expensive to normal people. The later Northstar is not the same horror story people remember from the old 90s cars. By these years, the engine is better sorted, and the car uses familiar GM luxury hardware instead of exotic European packaging. Consumer Guide lists the DTS Luxury with a 275 horsepower V8. Leather, tri-zone climate, xenon headlights, and load-leveling suspension, which is big comfort for cheap money. The weak points are coolant neglect, oil leaks, lighting problems, rear load leveling, and expensive electronic failures on loaded cars. Earl, a retired funeral home driver, compares a $6,200 DTS with 94,000 miles against a shinier $4,900 car, lets both sit overnight, and learns the cheaper one sags in the rear. That is the lesson. Cheap luxury must stay level before it looks rich. Start it cold and watch temperature behavior. Smell for coolant, look for oil leaks and wet cooler lines. Let it sit and check rear ride height. Then test headlights, climate zones, power seats, and every window switch. Buy it if you want quiet American luxury and easy cruising. Walk away if it runs hot, smells sweet, flashes a warning, or has dead options everywhere. The way I look at a DTS is simple. Buy the owner as much as the car. A one-family car with factory wheels, matching tires, clean beige leather, and a stack of oil change receipts tells me more than a fresh detail. These cars were often bought by people who drove gently, parked in garages, and fixed small problems before they became drama. That is why mileage alone does not scare me. A 90,000-mile car with brown coolant worries me more than a 130,000-mile car with clean fluid, steady temperature, and proof of cooling service. Also look at the headlight lenses in the rear bumper corners. Cloudy lights, scraped corners, and dead parking sensors tell you how the owner treated size. A DTS is long, and careless parking can mean careless maintenance. The rich look only works when the car moves like it was cared for, not like it was dragged out of an auction lane yesterday. The next car looks newer and sharper, but one hidden Ford family repair can turn the bargain ugly. Number 4. Lincoln MKS 3.7 FWD. The MKS looks like someone paid real money for it, because someone did. I would target 2010 through 2012 Lincoln MKS sedans with the naturally aspirated 3.7-liter V6, preferably front-wheel drive. Avoid EcoBoost models if you want the cheapest repair path, and avoid all-wheel drive cars unless the PTU area is dry and service history makes sense. Also avoid coolant smell, water pump symptoms, timing cover leaks, rough shifts, mismatched body panels, neglected tires, and luxury electronics that already do not work. Kelley Blue Book shows the 2011 MKS sedan with current resale around the upper $6,000 range, and a fair purchase estimate near the upper $7,000 range. Realistic buys run $5,500 to $9,500 with about 85,000 to 160,000 miles. The front-wheel drive 3.7 car is the cleanest value play because it skips turbochargers and avoids the all-wheel drive PTU worry. The market overlooks it because people still think Lincoln means old person brand, and the MKS never became collectible, sporty, or cool. That is your opening. From the curb, it has a big sedan shape, big grille, leather, chrome, and quiet doors that close like a car built above its current price. Mechanically, the naturally aspirated V6 avoids turbo heat and delivers enough power without chasing EcoBoost bragging rights. It also sits inside the Ford service world, so ordinary shops understand the car. The weak point is the internal water pump design on the 3.7 family. Plus, PTU leaks on all-wheel drive cars, front suspension wear, and accessory electronics. An AutoTrader used review specifically warns buyers to inspect the cooling system, water pump, suspension, and PTU leakage on all-wheel drive MKS models. Before startup, check coolant level and smell. Open the oil cap and look for milky residue. If it is all-wheel drive, inspect the PTU area for leaks. Test every power feature, seat motor, mirror, window, sunshade, parking sensor, and heated seat, then drive warm and feel the 6-speed automatic. Buy it if you want a modern-looking Lincoln under $10,000 with fewer moving parts than the EcoBoost version. Skip it if you cannot budget a cooling system inspection, or you only want the fastest badge on the trunk. This is the kind of car that can fool people because it still looks like airport executive transport, but the inspection has to happen first. I would not buy this car from photos alone. Sit inside for 10 minutes and make it prove the luxury still works. The seats should move smoothly, the climate should change temperature on command, the steering wheel buttons should respond, and the screen should not act possessed. A cheap compact car can have a dead switch and still be fine. A cheap luxury car with dead comfort features loses the whole reason you bought it. The big plus is highway manners. A healthy MKS tracks straight, feels isolated, and makes a long commute feel like less work. That is the part that makes people think it costs more than it did. But if coolant history is vague, the oil cap looks milky, or the seller says the temperature gauge has always acted that way, do not negotiate emotionally. Leave. The next car has the luxury shape without the luxury badge, and that may be the biggest visual trick here. If this keeps your wallet out of a fake rich money pit, subscribe. We buy condition, records, and repair access first. Number 3. Hyundai Genesis 3.8 Sedan. The Genesis works because strangers see the shape before they read the badge. I would shop 2009 through 2011 Hyundai Genesis 3.8. Sedan with the 3.8-liter V6 and 6-speed automatic. Avoid neglected 4.6 V8 cars if fuel cost, rear tires, and repair cost matter. Avoid 2012 and newer 3.8 GDI cars if you want the simpler early Genesis path. Also avoid rough suspension clunks, cold timing chain noise, cheap mismatched tires, flood history, worn electronics, and cars with luxury features that were ignored after the warranty ended. Edmunds confirms the early Genesis 3.8 setup with the V6 and automatic, and Kelley Blue Book puts 2009 and 2010 3.8 sedans around the $5,000 to $6,000 fair purchase zone depending on year and condition. In the real market, $5,000 to $9,500 buys a clean title early V6 car with 90,000 to 170,000 miles. Very clean low-mile examples can cross 10,000, but most early VA6 cars stay cheap because Hyundai still does not carry Lexus or Mercedes status. That mismatch is the whole opportunity. The shape says Executive Sedan. The badge says Used Hyundai. Most people walking past see the long hood, rear-wheel drive stance, clean roofline, leather cabin, and quiet proportions before they ever think about resale charts. Mechanically, the early 3.8 V6 is naturally aspirated, paired with a conventional 6-speed automatic, and sits in a rear-wheel drive platform without air suspension or turbocharger drama. That is a good recipe when records exist. The weak points are control arms, front lower bushing wear, suspension clunks, electronics aging, tire wear, and timing noise on neglected cars. A recent parts guide for 2009 through 2012 Genesis sedans calls out front lower control arm bushing symptoms like clunks and wandering. Nadia, a real estate assistant, finds a $7,400 Genesis with 128,000 miles, drives it over broken pavement, hears the front clunk, and uses the control arm estimate to negotiate instead of buying the shine. That is how you use knowledge. Drive over small bumps and listen. Check inside tire wear. Start cold and listen for chain rattle. Test seat motors, navigation, audio, window switches, backup sensors, and the sunroof. Buy it if you want. Rear-wheel drive luxury style without German repair anxiety. Walk away if the front end wanders, electronics are dead, or the tires scream cheap owner. This car wins on curb impression. It looks like a higher-priced sedan because it was built to challenge cars above its badge. The Genesis also has a real trick that helps the rich look. It is quiet in a plain way, not flashy. A black, silver, or dark blue one on factory wheels can pass for something European to people who do not read badges. Inside, it gives you the wide center console, big seats, rear seat room, and solid door feel that budget sedans never had. But the cheap examples often reveal themselves underneath. Front tires worn on the inside, cheap rear tires, loose bushings, and clunks over driveway lips tell you the owner wanted the look, but not the upkeep. That is your negotiation point. Do not be embarrassed by the Hyundai badge. Be embarrassed by buying one with 4 different tires and a front end that knocks like a toolbox in the trunk. The next car is the opposite. The badge is respected, the drivetrain is clever, and the price fell because almost nobody remembers the model. Number 2. Acura RL 3.5 SH-AWD. The RL is the car for someone who wants the valet to assume you are a doctor, not an influencer. I would buy 2007 through 2008 Acura RL sedans with a 3.5-liter V6, 5-speed automatic, and super handling all-wheel drive. Avoid cars with no timing belt history, power steering leaks, neglected SH-AWD fluid service, warning lights, worn suspension, dead navigation screens, and mismatched tires. Avoid 2005 through 2006 if you want the easier later buy, and avoid 2009 through 2012 3.7 cars if you do not want the higher cost later version. Kelley Blue Book lists the 2008 RL with the 3.5 VTE CV6 and SH-AWD, and fair purchase numbers can sit around basic used sedan money. Realistic prices run $4,500 to $9,500 with 100,000 to 180,000 miles. Clean, low-mile one-owner cars can cost more, but many RL sedans are cheap because used luxury buyers chase Lexus, BMW, Mercedes, or newer Acura TL models. The RL never had the status heat of a Lexus LS or the sporty reputation of a German sedan. It looks mature, understated, and almost anonymous. That is why it can pass as quiet money. Mechanically, the Honda Acura J-Series V6 is naturally aspirated, and the SH-AWD system gives real all-weather grip without turning the car into a fragile European project. The weak points are belt service, power steering hose leaks, SH-AWD, fluid neglect, suspension wear, electronics, and tires. Recall information on Acura RL models describes under-hood heat, causing power steering hose deterioration, cracking, and possible fluid leakage, so that hose is not a casual glance item. Ask for timing belt and water pump records. Look for wet power steering hoses, turn tight circles, and listen for driveline binding. Check that all tires match, then test navigation. Heated seats, climate control, sunroof, and every window. Buy it if you want Japanese luxury, AWD confidence, and a car that looks calm instead of needy. Skip it if you hate timing belt maintenance or need basic compact car parts pricing. The RL is not cheap because it is bad. It is cheap because Acura aimed it at buyers who were already shopping different badges. That missed target creates value now. A good one feels dense, quiet, planted, and expensive in a way a newer budget car cannot fake. But do not let the doctor car image soften your inspection. A neglected SH-AWD system, wet steering hose, dead screen, or mismatched tires can still drain a wallet. Walk away when the records are thin. What makes the RL interesting is how quietly expensive it feels. The doors are heavy, the cabin is tight, the stereo can still sound good, and the SH-AWD system gives the car a planted feel in rain that front-drive luxury sedans do not match. That system is also why tire condition matters so much. 4 matching tires with even tread tell you the owner understood the car. Mismatched budget tires tell you the owner was feeding a luxury sedan with economy car habits. Also check the maintenance rhythm. Honda engines like clean oil, clean coolant, and timely belts. They do not reward magical thinking. If the seller says the timing belt was probably done, price it like it was not done. Quiet wealth does not guess. Quiet wealth keeps receipts. Number 1 brings the strongest rich car image, but only if you buy the right facelift years and avoid the German traps. Subscribe if you like luxury cars judged by cold starts, receipts, leaks, and tires instead of fake status and monthly payments. Number 1. Mercedes-Benz E350 Luxury Sedan. The E350 wins because it still looks like money to people who know nothing about used car depreciation. I would shop 2008 through 2009 Mercedes-Benz E350 luxury sedan, preferably rear-wheel drive, with the 3.5-liter V6 and 7-speed automatic. Avoid 2003 through 2006 E-Class cars if you do not want SBC brake system complexity. Avoid early 2006 to early 2007 M272 balance shaft exposure unless documentation is strong. Avoid Airmatic cars, 4MATIC cars, with neglected front-end or transfer case service, warning lights, oil leaks, conductor plate symptoms, cheap aftermarket wheels, and sellers who say all Mercedes lights are normal. Edmunds confirms the 2009 rear-wheel drive E350 with a V6 and 7-speed automatic, and Cars.com shows many 2009 E350 listings sitting around the high $7,000 to low $8,000 average range, with cheaper cars below that. Realistic pricing is $6,000 to $10,000 for 2008 through 2009 luxury sedans with about 90,000 to 160,000 miles, depending on records, color, options, and rust. Sport models can look sharper, but the luxury trim gives the better old money profile. The market overlooks it because practical buyers fear used German luxury, and they are not wrong. That fear is exactly why a clean, documented W211 can sit near ordinary used car prices. Mechanically, the late facelift cars avoid some early ownership pain. You get a naturally aspirated V6, conventional automatic classic Mercedes proportions, and no turbocharged modern complexity. The weak points are oil leaks, motor mounts, front suspension arms, 7G-tronic conductor plate symptoms, deferred maintenance, and early M272 history. MB Medic notes the SBC brake system was removed after 2006 and warns about balance shaft issues on early M272 and M273 engines, which is why the late buy window matters. Thomas, a retired accountant, compares a $9,200 E350 luxury with dealer service records against a $6,400 warning light car. He pays more upfront and avoids turning a status badge into a repair bill. That is how Mercedes shopping works. Scan for codes before purchase. Start cold and listen for timing noise. Check for oil leaks around the front and rear of the engine. Drive warm and feel for harsh 7-speed shifts, limp mode, or delayed engagement. Inspect front suspension bushings and tires. Buy it if you want the strongest rich look here and can afford preventive maintenance. Walk away if you are buying only the badge or cannot pay a Mercedes specialist before purchase. The ownership effect is simple. Assorted E-Class still feels expensive at 20 paces at the valet stand and from the driver's seat. A neglected one feels expensive only when the invoice prints. This car rewards patience, not bravery. Look for factory wheels, matching premium tires, clean leather, working climate control, smooth shifts, and a folder thick enough to make the seller slightly proud. I would rather own the $9,000 car with records than the $6,000 car with stories. The outside world sees Mercedes, luxury, and success. Your job is to make sure the underside does not see trouble, leaks, or a money pit. That is why number 1 is not the cheapest rich-looking car. It is the one that gives the most image per dollar when the inspection protects your wallet. The best E350 luxury sedan has a boring personality in the best way. It starts without drama, idles smoothly, shifts without a kick, rides quietly, and has no warning lights trying to start a conversation. Do not chase the sport package just because the wheels look sharper. Low-profile tires and harder suspension can add cost without adding old money presents. You are buying the impression of someone who chose well years ago and kept the car nice. You are not buying attention. Also check ownership chain. 1 or 2 owners with Mercedes or independent specialist invoices is different from 5 owners, auction history, and a glove box full of nothing. Look at the tires. Matching premium tires are one of the easiest signs that the owner could afford the car. Cheap mixed tires on a Mercedes are a public confession. Small Mercedes electrical problems are not always catastrophic, but they turn annoying fast when the car costs less than a new economy car down payment. Each cheap luxury car needs one specific check before it becomes smart. If this list changes how you judge cheap luxury, subscribe. The rich look only works when the inspection protects your wallet. The Buyer Roadmap. Buy the Cadillac DTS luxury sedan for quiet American luxury, chrome presence, and easy cruising. Cooling health, rear leveling, oil leaks, lights, and electronics decide the deal. Buy the Lincoln MKS 3.7 FWD if you want big Lincoln comfort with fewer expensive moving parts. Cooling condition, water pump signs, PTU leaks on all-wheel drive cars, and electronics are the hard checks. Buy the Hyundai Genesis 3.8 sedan for rear-wheel drive luxury style without the German repair reputation. Front control arms, tire wear, timing noise, and electronics decide whether it is a bargain. Buy the Acura RL 3.5 SH-AWD for quiet Japanese luxury and all-weather confidence. Timing belt-proof, power steering leaks, SH-AWD service, tires, and electronics decide the deal. Buy the Mercedes-Benz E350 luxury sedan only in the late rear-wheel drive window and only with records plus a clean scan. Oil leaks, conductor plate symptoms, suspension wear, and early M272 history are the danger checks. Cheap luxury only works when the expensive failure point is known before the seller gets your money. The badge makes you look rich, but records keep you from going broke. The smartest buyer also prices dignity correctly. A car that makes you look successful while it quietly leaks oil, flashes airbag lights, and shakes over bumps is not luxury. It is theater. I would rather own the cleaner lower trim with records than the loaded trim with stories. Leather can be repaired, wheels can be cleaned, and paint can be polished, but overheating, slipping, rust, and mystery codes change the whole equation. Bring the car home only after it proves 2 things. The rich look is still intact and the expensive part has already been checked. That is how you buy status without becoming its servant. The seller wants you staring at the badge. You should be staring at coolant, oil, tires, suspension, scan data, and receipts. When those boring pieces line up, the car can look expensive without owning you. When they do not, smile, thank the seller, and leave before the low price becomes the most expensive part of the deal. That is discipline. On every one of these, bring a scan tool, a flashlight, paper towels, and enough time for a real warm test drive. A cheap luxury car can behave perfectly for 5 minutes and show its truth after heat builds. Do not fall for fresh wax, tire shine, or a seller who says a warning light is just a sensor. Sensors cost money too, and warning lights are how expensive cars ask for your wallet. Subscribe for calm, practical used luxury advice. Click the next video playing on your screen right now. It covers cheap status cars that hide expensive repair traps from proud buyers.